Welcome, welcome, welcome to Critical Thinking Ministry. Happy Father's Day to all the great fathers out there raising their family in a God-loving environment. Certainly, it is good to be back. I'm not going to be very long today. I know you have to open up all those Father's Day gifts from Dollar Tree. Just kidding. We appreciate anything you all give us because as fathers, we are so used to giving, it does seem awkward sometimes to receive. So, happy Father's Day to all. So, as the thumbnail says, fathers know best. Anyone over the age of 65, which I am not, remembers a show by that name, Father Knows Best. Although I wasn't alive when it originally aired, I did watch some of the reruns in syndication, and I have to admit it is a great show. In fact, most of the shows in that era always had a wise, strong, and knowledgeable father as the lead character. They had shows like Little House on the Prairie, Leave It to Beaver, Happy Days, and the Andy Griffin Show. And I dare not forget James Evans on the iconic show Good Times in the late 70s. And my favorite of all time, The Cosby Show with Heathcliff Huxtable. Not to be confused with Bill Cosby. I had to put that in there. The Cosby Show was a game changer for the country. It showed a different aspect of African American living that was rarely shown on TV. The parents were educated and loved one another and were dedicated to raising productive children. I have to admit, I would have given anything to be Theo Huxtable. And now that I think about it, most young men wanted to be Theo. But since I couldn't be Theo, I did the next best thing. And that is, I patterned my life after him. When Theo snuck and got his ear pierced, I went and got mine pierced. When Theo wanted that expensive Gordon Gartrell shirt, I wanted a Gordon Gartrell shirt. When Theo and his friend Cockroach started to grow peach fuzz mustaches, I wanted to grow a mustache. Boy, that show had a profound impact on my life. In fact, I have a copy of the painting Claire won at the auction of her relative in my dining room. Now, the painting really is from the famed artist Ellis Wilson. I learned so much from The Cosby Show about parenting. Boy, did I ever. When my wife and I married and finally had a daughter, when she was around 4, I remember giving her a pony ride on my leg, just like Heathcliff did with Rudy and her friends. And I think I enjoyed it more than my daughter did. Boy, such fun times. The show influenced me in so many ways. It influenced me to go to college. I ended up going to an HBCU because Denise went to the fictional HBCU Hillman College. In fact, The Cosby Show, along with Different World, is the main reason HBCUs experienced an explosion in the late 80s and early 90s. The show illustrated what was possible with hard work and character. Dr. Huxtable. What an amazing figure. Dr. Huxtable always had the Midas touch. Dr. Huxtable knew how and when to be gentle and he knew when to lay the law down without breaking the child's spirit. Watch this clip I'm about to show, which illustrates that. Wow. Dr. Huxtable in action. Classic parenting at its finest. He knew how to discipline without breaking Theo's spirit. I always admired how Cliff and Claire always made sure the home was a safe place where love was the number one rule. The children always knew they were loved. Boy, we need more of that in the African American community. If you watch social media, sometimes it seems like we are regressing in that area. Or maybe the media only seems to show the very worst in our shattered homes. Whatever the case, our children are fragile and should be handled with care. As my late grandmother used to say, when it comes to raising children, pay now or pay later. But paying later is always more expensive. Dr. Huxtable was dependable. I'll say that again. Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable was dependable. Either he was at work delivering babies, or he was at home listening to soothing jazz. Claire never had to hunt him down over another woman's house. I admired him for being reliable, dependable. We need more dependable men in our community who can be trusted. Although in college, I readily admit I didn't have any plans on getting married, but I always knew I wanted to be reliable, dependable, and trustworthy. Although being a great father is a serious task, it's not all serious. Dr. Huxtable had the greatest sense of humor ever. It's not only important for your children to see the serious part of their father, but it's equally important to see the fun and silly side also. I remember when Dr. Huxtable and Theo were sitting down talking with Denise's boyfriend, who was a really bright and smart guy and had been accepted to many Ivy League colleges. And so Dr. Huxtable asked the young man, what college was he attending? He stated he wasn't going to college because he had been reading ancient philosophers who said real learning is just observing life. And Theo chimed in and asked, where could I find these books to read? And Dr. Huxtable responded, but son, you don't read. Son, you don't read. Great stuff. Funny. So I don't take myself too seriously with my daughter. I love laughing hard with her when something is funny, even if I'm the butt of the joke, which seems to be most of the time. Fathers, listen to this. It's okay to let your guard down in front of your family. It's okay to let them see you laugh uncontrollably. It's okay to let them see you vulnerable. Guess what? They would love you all the more. Fathers, you don't know how important you really are. We all are too familiar with the negative effects fatherless households have on society. From children living in poverty, high crime, high teen pregnancy, high drug usage, etc., etc., etc. Fathers, we must lead by example. Our children are watching our every step. I remember when my daughter was around 6 and I told her to answer the phone, and it ended up being a solicitor. So I told her to tell them I wasn't home. So she got back on the phone and said, "My daddy said he's not home." Needless to say, I took the phone and hung up. But it was at that moment I realized, oops, I was teaching my daughter how to lie. Our children are watching our every step. As I bring this to a close, what does the Bible say about being a godly father? Let's look. Psalm 103:13, as a father shows compassion to his children, so the Lord shows compassion to those who fear him. Ephesians 6:4, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Proverbs 27, the righteous who walks in his integrity, blessed are his children after him. Proverbs 13:22, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the sinner's wealth is laid up for the righteous. So, on this Father's Day, I want to remind all the fathers, you matter. You matter to your family. You matter to society. You matter to God. Now take your rightful place and lead your family in the beauty of holiness. Happy Father's Day, and God bless you all.